All right, everyone. My name is Aaliyah Abraham from the Black Resource Network, and I am here today with Mr. Wayne Scully. He is a CPA, and we're going to be talking about small business tax resolutions right here live in the Black Resource Network. Now, we all know taxes, when we talk about taxes, is always a scary thing, but it doesn't have to be if you can find the professionals who can answer your question like Wayne. Who can make the process just a lot easier for you. So I'm excited to have him on. Wayne, how you doing?
Not too bad. Thank you for asking. Right off tax season ended 2 weeks ago, so still
Yes, yes.
getting back to my normal
So
self.
now you get to breathe.
Yeah, a little bit, but you know what? The tax resolution game is it's all your own thing. So real, not really.
Right.
And since I'm moving away from doing a lot tax prep work, then the resolution is all gonna be there anyway. So, but it's still good to not have to worry about last minute filers and that sort of thing. That's the big thing for me this past season. A lot of people came at the last minute, which is if you're in business, you don't want to be don't be a last minute filer. So that's
Yeah.
if you take nothing else away from what I say, take that.
So tell us a little bit about yourself, your background in taxes and CPA.
Yeah, so I've been licensed since 2008,
Okay.
um, and had my firm since 2010. And I've done a plethora of things. Started in the audit world, but I love tax. I love to help. I could see the impact on people's lives,
Yeah.
from that perspective. So, especially when it comes to planning and the resolution stuff.
Sure.
So it's really important because then you get to. I've had a client last year who I thought it was suicidal. So people take this stuff seriously. So if I can impact people's lives and really get them on the right track, that's what I love to do. So
Right.
yep.
So tell me about the tax resolution process. What exactly is that?
Yeah, typically how it starts is you file your return or maybe not,
Yeah.
and the IRS sends you a bill because there are a couple of things that they can do. Right, if you don't file, they can actually file a return on your behalf, which
Okay.
is not good, and they stick you with a bill. They say, okay, well, this is how much you made. This is the tax rate. Give us $20,000,
Yeah.
and 99% of the time that's not right. So it starts with the bill. It starts with the billing cycle. So they send you a couple of bills, and this also is typical the same for states. And then if you don't pay them, then they threaten all kinds of things from garnishment of your wages to levying your bank accounts, you name it.
Right.
And they have very powerful tools to get at your stuff. So really that's where it starts. So I come in um, sometimes, hopefully sooner than later. But if you bring me in early enough, we can slow down our stop levies. We can address liens.
Right.
So there are various ways to address those. And yeah, it starts with them, the IRS, and then it ends with us negotiating something on your behalf, whether it be a payment plan or an offer and compromise or something like that.
So you talked about levies and liens, and we hear those words a lot, a tax lien, tax levy. Can you tell me the difference between the two?
So a levy is when, as my friend would say, when the money is leaving you. Right? So basically they're gonna go and grab at your account and they're gonna take your money. That's essentially what that is. Or in the case of a garnishment, that's sort of a levy as well. Okay. A lien is when they attach your assets. They basically put a lien on you. They lien on you for your money. So they attach your assets. Usually they put in the public domain, and it can prevent you from getting a loan or even getting a job. To be
Yeah.
honest, so um, Paris has powerful tools and also the states, but that's the major distinction. One is when they're taking the money from you. The other one is when they're say, "Hey, wake up! We're gonna take the money if you don't do something."
Okay.
So that's what the lien really does. It's a wake up call, if you will.
So what are some common misconceptions about tax liens and levies, and how can individuals protect themselves against these?
Let's start with the last one first. So protect yourself, file on time, right?
Yeah.
If you can full pay the debt, then make some sort of arrangement to pay. because a lot of people don't know this. Not filing your return is actually a crime. Owing the IRS is not necessarily a crime, but not filing is a crime. So once you file a return and you're making a good faith effort to resolve the tax problem, then you're most likely not going to have a quote unquote lien filed against you. Now, the misconception is with liens is um, people get the lien filing confused with the actual lien. The statutory lien is when you owe the money and don't pay. That by law creates a lien. Okay. The lien basically tracks everything you own or will own in the future. Okay. The notice of federal tax lien is when the IRS actually files, they proactively go to the county clerk's office and initiate paperwork to put in the public domain that you owe them money. Right. So that's a big mistake because people hear of lien, they think, oh, it's only when they file something. No. The lien actually happens once you owe and don't pay.
Okay.
The filing of a lien, it's the notice of federal tax lien, as it's called, is them going out into the county clerk where you reside, and usually when people have assets like a home or something, it'll attach that much faster, so you can't sell your property. You know what I mean? So if you can't sell your property, then you could be in a bind if you're looking to move right away and you need the money to move. Then here you go, you can't do that because you have this lien. So I'd say the best thing you could do is, file a lien on time. Okay, I'm sorry, file your tax returns on time and make as much of a payment as you can and make arrangements. If you can't figure it out yourself, you want to talk to someone like
That's
myself,
professional.
figure it out for you.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
In your experience, what are the key factors that contribute to successful tax resolution for businesses?
Businesses, when it comes the tax resolution to be successful at that as the taxpayer, you have to want to be open to listening to your tax professional. That's,
Okay.
be timely, all right? Be timely, be forthcoming. Now, if there's fraud, God forbid, don't tell me that because I'm not an attorney. So you want to talk, but you want to be as forthcoming as you possibly can, right? Be a part of the process. Don't impede the process. And by that I mean people sometimes they lag in responding, they lag in providing information, and that could really because there are points in time where you could actually save a client, but if you wait too long, then the horse is out the gate, and
Already
it's
on.
difficult to pull that back. So be prepared, be responsive, be responsible. Listen to your professional. Those are like some of the things I would say you should do. That's for anyone, business or
All
non.
personal.
Exactly.
Makes sense. What are some of the essential documents or records that an individual should keep to support their tax resolution case? And how long should they retain them?
So when you're gonna okay, so the basic documents they ask for is in the case of a business, they'll ask for a profit and loss statement. So of course they want to know where the business is, if it's making money or not, so they can determine if the business will be able to pay, right? So you want to keep accurate records, not just for that, but also for your tax prep, right? You want to keep accurate source documents, and you want to keep, having your books up to date, having your books current, so that when I ask for the P&L, profit and loss statement, you'll have that to provide to me, which will then use to support, your request for a payment plan or something to that nature. With individuals, they'll ask for pay stubs, they ask for bank statements, and usually those are pretty handy. People have those readily available.
Yeah.
They may ask for a lease if you're renting, mortgage documents if you own or whatever. So a lot of those documents are pretty much readily available to folks as they need them. You know,
Got it.
yeah.
And how long will they need them? Like how
Okay.
many years?
So the look back period is about typically looking back 3, 6, 9, 12 months. So as far as the bank statements, they'll ask for one of those quarterly periods. It doesn't have to be the last 3 months. It could be the first. It just depends on the client situation and what information we need to support what we're asking for. So maybe because usually what you want to do is you want to show as little income as you possibly can. So maybe in quarter one they had a bad quarter, and that's the quarter we want to focus on, right? Versus the most current one. Okay. So you want to keep your records at your fingertips, and we don't want to go we won't go back several years, right? Not for tax resolution purposes, for purposes and to support your deductions. You are advised to keep your information for about 7 years, okay? And if there's fraud or something like that, then you're supposed to keep it forever, but but yeah, I mean, for resolution purposes, you're looking um, back, say, up to 12 months, but you're also looking forward, because
Yeah.
again, they want to know if you're in, if you have a lawsuit against your for
Mm,
you, right? And
got
so
it.
you're expecting money coming in. They want to know about it because they want to say, okay, well, if you're likely to win a
After their
lawsuit,
money.
pay us with that money.
Yeah.
So they want to see if you're going to sell your house, for example. They want to know about that too, because that's money coming in.
Yeah.
So it's not just looking back; it's also looking forward.
Right. So a lot of us are making the same mistakes, so the same mistakes year after year, and don't even realize it. Give me some tips for business professionals on how they can avoid some of these tax problems and stay compliant.
It goes back to what I said before. You gotta
Profit and
keep your
loss.
source documents.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I just spoke to someone last Saturday, and he was like, "Well, what if I don't have my receipts? Can I just use my bank statements?" Well, your bank statements are good. It's a good starting point, but imagine this, right? You buy something on Amazon. Let's say I don't know what kind of business you're in, but let's say you do a lot of purchases on Amazon, right? They don't know if those purchases are personal or business, because as you know, you could buy from a pin to an anchor on
Right.
Amazon, right? So you have to demonstrate to the auditors, God forbid, that what you purchased was actually business related. It's reasonable and it's necessary for your business.
Got it.
So ordinary and necessary for your business. So really, the main thing is your source documents, right? And have a rationale for why you're deducting that particular thing, especially if it's outside of the normal scope of what you do.
Got it.
Okay. Does that answer your question? I'm not sure if I answered that.
Yes, 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 it does.
Yeah.
I want to ask you a little bit about yourself, or
Mhm.
or about tax professionals. So, what type of licenses or permits or qualifications should
Okay.
someone look for when they're consulting a tax professional?
Yeah. So, all right. So typically, probably CPAs are probably most known for taxes,
Yeah,
whether good or bad or whatever. But you can also talk to an attorney. Some attorneys, very few, but some do prepare returns and they do, handle tax matters. And then you have enrolled agents as well. So those are the three credentialed professionals. When it comes to tax prep, just about anyone can prepare a return. There was like a big lawsuit a few years back where the IRS tried to regulate the tax prep industry because they felt it was really going the wrong direction. Because you do have some people are doing some nefarious stuff,
yeah,
but there's a loving case, it's called, where that was squashed, and now pretty much anyone can continue to prepare returns for you. But I would say if you're looking for a professional, look for someone credentialed. Check them out on the irs.gov. There's a directory. They don't endorse any particular professional, but there's a
mhm,
directory of professionals that are have a PTIN,
right,
with the IRS, right? So you want to make sure the person is credentialed, ideally, especially if you're a small business or really care about your taxes. If you're someone that has W-2 and that's all you have, you just go do it yourself. IRS.gov, direct file, free file. There are a lot of options to do that. Okay. But when it comes to a more complex situation, you want to talk to a CPA, an attorney, or an enrolled agent. Not necessarily in that order, but just
yeah,
that's the way I want to feel like. None is better than the other. I mean, there are some very
right,
great attorneys at this stuff, very great EAs. They're licensed to only do most. Their license only pertains to tax, whereas a CPA we can do different things. But that's also a very good point too, that you want to find someone who's actually steeped in prepared returns or doing tax work, because you have CPAs who are auditors and they're not really necessarily skilled at doing tax work. You know what I mean? So you want to find the right professional for your needs. Interview that person. Try to look them up on Google to see what people are saying about them. I happen to have an impressive 77 reviews on Google, so
hey,
check me out. But yeah, I mean, yeah. That's what you do. You just do your research, do your due diligence.
Like any other business, you
You know what I mean? I get another profession. You're gonna hire a plumber, get some referrals, recommendations from someone.
yeah.
Look that person up, see what's going on with them. What's out there in the public domain with regard to their work, the quality of their work. So that's what I would say. A person would do to get the right professional.
Got it. Are you familiar with the IRS Fresh Start program?
It's that's a marketing terminology, but it's
Okay.
really just addressing your debt through an offer and compromise type scenario, where you're paying the IRS less than what you owe.
Okay.
So you owe $100,000. Like I've had a case recently where the client owed. This was New York State, by the way. It They owed $77,000. I was able to get him down to $2,000. So he's gonna get a fresh start because now he doesn't have that debt like on his shoulders. You know what I mean? He can now start over from scratch, not having to worry about the state, trying to come after him for that money. You know what I mean? So that's a big savings. $75,000 is not
Yeah.
nothing to sneeze at.
Yes.
So now you can start over your life. It's a fresh start.
Yeah. Got
Um,
it.
but yeah, that's really what that's about. Resolving typically through an offer and compromise. But not everyone qualifies for that. So you have to again talk to the right professional who's going to do the work to determine if you really qualify for it.
So what are you talked about it a bit before about when you owe money and they audit you and then they find out how much money you owe and then you can enter into a payment plan. So
Hmm.
what are some of the pros and cons of the IRS payment plan?
Pro is that you don't have them coming after you. Then they're gonna be sending the notices. They're not gonna be reaching out to you because you're as long as you're paying on time.
Hmm.
Um, Also, if you do a direct debit installment agreement, you basically save yourself some fees for send up because there are user fees that IRS charges. If you can do it online, it's even cheaper that way. Um, you start paying down the debt. So although people have told me that the interest is so enormous that it seems as they're not paying anything off.
Right.
But you're still paying that debt, and if you are trying to get a loan or something, that made the bank will look at that favorably, that you're in an installment agreement with the IRS. So that's another plus to it. As far as minuses, you have to pay a fee. Okay, the liens are still there until you pay it off for the
Right.
most part, unless your debt is below a certain threshold. The liens they file are still there. You have to, as I said, you have to pay the fees, and those are like the two main ones that come to mind right now.
Okay.
As far as cons, it's not as good as getting for the most part, as getting in offer and compromise approved because you end up paying less in that instance in some cases. But there are different types of installment agreements too, so it's going to vary. But for the most part, it's having to pay the fee and stuff like that. It's there are more pros than cons, I would say. To get that done because again, you have something established and it doesn't become where you're looking over your shoulders anymore because you have this set payment that you're making. You know how much you're paying. You know how long you're going to pay it for. It's coming most likely coming out of your bank account. You don't have to worry about it. You set it and forget it. So I'd say there are more pros than cons.
Got it. So if you owe the IRS money, do a payment plan.
No payment plan, at least that, if nothing else, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And even if you don't have a pay, I tell people that if you don't have a payment plan, start making some sort of payment. Even if it's not formalized, start making some sort of good faith payments. That's going to look favorable on you. When by the time you get to me, I say, listen, Iris, this taxpayer, they've been paying you for the last 3 months, $100. Even if it's $100,
Oh,
it's still better than paying nothing. You know what I mean? Because it shows that it demonstrates that you're willing to get this thing behind you. So that's a good thing to do as well.
so obviously you're very knowledgeable about tax and and money and how to stay
Yeah.
good with the IRS.
Sure.
What started your career? Let's talk about Wayne a little bit.
Okay.
What started your career
Um, you
in
know,
in the tax field?
yeah. So if I go back far enough, I'll say in college I was a international business student because I wanted to go back to Jamaica and like work in the hotel industry or something like
Yeah.
that. But then when I started doing accounting, which I had been exposed to before in high school, which is not very, that's not something that's common here. I don't think most people are exposed to that in college. But I started doing accounting back in high school. So we're talking about, man, late mid 80s or something like that, a long time.
Yeah.
So then when I got here, I started doing accounting. I was so good at it because I'd done it before, not because I was
Mhm.
that smart, but because I'd done it before. The professor said to me, you know what, you should think about a career in accounting because there's always a job, whether the economy is good or bad, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, you know what, something to think about. And then I just started to go in that direction. And then I decided to then, figure if I'm going to do accounting, why stop at the baseline? You know what I mean? Become a CPA. And then when I became a CPA, now I started to do audit work. It's like, this is kind of boring. I think tax is more interesting. I will do audits. It's in my blood.
Yeah.
Even now, I bring my audit hat when I do work because it's
Mhm.
compliance, right? So it's still audit. Like in the back of my mind, I'm thinking like, oh, like an auditor. Much in the same way that someone from the state or the IRS would audit you. Same kind of mindset is what I have. That's why it's good to hire someone with an audit background to do this type of work for you.
Okay.
So yeah, I mean, basically, just mushroomed. It just built on itself over time. I started by just I wanted to get a job that would, you know, I have availability or be able to get work like pretty much all the time, and that's why I started with that, and then to the CP, and then really what I always wanted to do was own my own business. Saw my dad do it, and I wanted to do be a business owner, and that kind of helped me to prepare for that. Studying that prepared me for that, and then by the time I got to basically last, I started my firm in 2010, but I was still like on the fence. I was working in corporate just the same, and it was like about 5 years ago I decided, you know what, I'm gonna go full blast, 100% on my own.
All right.
Yeah, yeah. So
Yeah.
it's just the love of it, the love of helping people, that type of stuff. That's what drives me, wakes me up every day to do what I do.
And you've also written a book, right?
Yeah,
21 tax topics to stay compliant and
yeah.
save money.
You see my banner in the back there.
That's right. Tell us about the book and what made you write the
So
book
the
and
book,
what's
I
it
didn't have a copy
about,
in front of me, but
how to find the book.
yeah, the book 21 Tax Topics to Stay Compliant is a resolution book.
Got
It's
it?
all about how people get giving you nuggets of information to help you along the way to even possibly do it on your own.
Yeah.
So it's really about talking about liens, levies. I give good stories in there. I talk about client war, issues with particular clients and that sort of thing. But it's really it took me like the better part of last year to do, probably on and off. I started in the spring. I finished by the summer.
Okay.
I got to editor and got the book out. By I think it was like late June or something like that. It was out, and I'm working on another book too. I'll talk about it afterwards. But this book is really about resolving tax problems, and it's really about the various topics and things that the stuff that we just talked about: liens, levies, offers and compromise, that type of thing. I try to make it fun because it's tax, right? It's accounting. It's kind of
Yeah.
boring to some people,
Yeah.
unless you're a geek like me.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
it's kind of boring to most people. But I find it very interesting, the stories, and and I want to write another book on resolution from the perspective of the taxpayer. People have helped to kind of like dissect their stories. So I think that's going to be very interesting too. But yeah, I mean, the book is out on Amazon.com for purchase.
Got it.
You can get it hardcover. I think it was like $21, and then you could get it paperback, and then you could get it on Kindle for download. So it goes down in price, depending on which option you choose, or you could get it for free at www.getmytaxbook.com
Ah,
or www.leanonme.info. So those are my two landing pages, websites, if you will, where people can get a copy of the book in exchange for some information, of course.
got it. Got it.
So that's how you get the book.
And it's
Um,
21 tax topics to stay
Stay
compliant
compliant,
and
smart.
save money.
Yes, smart. Save money and reduce taxes. Smart. That's the
Got it.
yeah.
Ah,
Yeah. So it's 21 tax topics to stay compliant and save money. Smart.
got it.
Save money and reduce tax. That's like the subtitle.
Got
Oh
it. Got
yeah,
it.
you can find it on Amazon.com, or you can find it on those free. I'll repeat:
Got it.
www.getmytaxbook.com or www.leanonme. That's a play on the word. I figure lean because lean, but lean. Yeah, so I try to be smart with that stuff. I try to be slick with that. Try to be funny. But yeah, you can get a book for free or for purchase. It's your option. I think it's a great thing. It's good information. I'm not saying because I did the book myself, but it's not a long book. It's like maybe 117 pages. So it's good enough. Yep, that's it. www.getmytaxbook.com. Yep.
Got
Yes,
it.
so you can get that there. And then the new book I have coming out is called, if you don't mind me mentioning that, it's called
Yeah,
the working title is Tax Knows for Real Estate Pros, the ultimate tax guide, the ultimate guide for landlords, flippers, and real estate investors.
got
That's
it.
the working title. So again, as the name denotes, it's all real estate. It's tax related, but it's real estate. I'm talking about real estate related topics, as it pertains to taxes. So that's my next book coming out, hopefully by the summer or the fall. So I'm working on that right now.
Got it.
Yep, yep,
Got
yep.
it. Got it. Got it. So that'd be two.
That'll be
And
two books.
right, that'd be available on Amazon as well.
Yeah, I'm gonna put it on Amazon. Same day, I'm gonna. I don't know if I'll have a separate page like on my own, but I'm gonna
Right.
definitely make it available on Amazon for purchase.
Got it.
And I'll put it some other places. Probably I'll
Got
put it on
it.
getmytaxable.com as well.
Yes.
Um,
Please let us know when it's out.
yeah, for sure, for sure, for sure, for
So
sure.
we have some
I,
questions.
I do already. I put
Yes.
stuff. I put stuff on your platform. Thank
Yeah,
you, by
yeah,
the way, for
yeah,
being
yeah.
so
The
gracious
rest of
to
the
me and
week.
allow me to post on your platform. How could I ever miss in saying that? Listen.
No, we appreciate you.
I appreciate you.
I love your new content with your rest of the week and your comedy.
Oh yeah. I try
It's
to be funny, man.
hilarious. Good
That's
job.
not me. That's not really me. That's the guy.
That's a guy. Got it.
Not me. That ain't right. He's doing that. Don't put it on me. You know what I mean? Those Jamaicans, man, they're very loud, man. Very loud.
Yeah.
Anyway, but yeah.
We have
What
some
questions you
questions
have for
from
me?
the audience that I
Sure.
want to bring in here.
Sure.
So any recommendations for schools to become a CPA?
I went to CUNY.
Yeah.
You don't have to go to NYU or Pace or to me, if you're planning on becoming a CPA, ultimately it comes down to passing the exam. That's my perspective. I wouldn't go spend a whole bunch of money put myself in debt to go to high end school or whatever. Not to say CUNY is low end, but you know what I mean. In terms of pricing.
Yeah.
Spend a whole bunch of money to do that if you're gonna ultimately become a CPA. So
Yeah.
I'd say I went to Borough of Manhattan, coming to college in Manhattan, and I also went to York College. I didn't even go to Baruch because I would have lost a bunch of credits. You understand? So, and I was paying out of pocket, so I wasn't about to like do over an entire semester
Right.
just to go to Baruch. So I didn't go to Baruch. I went to York College. They were giving me the best deal for the buck.
Got it.
So yeah, yep.
Got it. Next question here. Should my accountant also be my tax preparer or should I keep the two separate?
You could have them as, but those functions, handled by one individual. I think it's probably better that way because it's more seamless. And a lot of times, if you are the accountant or you're doing the accounting, the books or whatever, you know what's in there. So you're gonna be asking yourself too many questions, right? Because you did the books. If I have a question for the accountant, there's a lot of back and forth. So you can see where it could take up more time. It might even cost you more money because, of course, time is money, especially in our business. So I would say you probably want to keep it under one umbrella as opposed to have them separate. Unless someone else could think of a reason why not. But that's my professional opinion on that.
Got it.
Yes, ma'am.
What program do you recommend businesses use to keep track of their expenses?
Yeah, so I'm not endorsing anything full-throatedly, but I use QuickBooks Online. I just
Okay.
and I've been using. Me, I'm a creature of habit. Once I'm using something for a while, I just refuse. I've been using my tax software since 2004.
Okay.
And even though people talk about other programs, whatever the fancy dancy stuff, I love my program because I understand my program. I like to stick with the evil I know. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I'd say I like QuickBooks, but there's Zero, there's a bunch of other ones, But I like
Got
QuickBooks. If I had to onboard a client, I would prefer that they have QuickBooks because it just make my life easier.
Got it.
Yeah.
Got it. And those are our questions from the audience right now. There are other comments here. Somebody said you already answered their questions.
Cool.
And just some overall good feedback from
Okay,
the audience.
good. Awesome.
Yes. So Wayne, thank you so much for joining us today. And we hope to see you again. And you got to help me get my books in order.
Whenever you're ready, let me know. I'll even have a nice discount for you. How about that?
Yes, I'll take it. I like this
Yes,
kind.
yes. So
Yes.
listen, thank you though for accommodating me, and like I said, allow me to constantly post on your platform, reaching so many people. I have a group myself. It's called Tax Notes for Real Estate Pros, and
Nice.
I barely have 15 people in that thing. So you have to tell me what you do to get that thing up.
I can do that.
Yeah, but I mean, I'm trying to get these people to come in because I think I have good content and good information, a good
Got
resource for people,
it.
not just there, but pretty much everywhere when it comes to taxes and that type of thing. And
Got
by
it.
the way, I specialize in resolving tax problems. Of course, I do tax prep and I do tax planning, which includes retirement planning. I'm an insurance producer, a real estate agent myself, and a real estate instructor. So if anyone out there needs someone to instruct in the real estate space, especially when it comes to taxes, I'm the guy to talk to. So, but Aaliyah, thank you so much for
No
having me today. Thank you for accommodating me. I can't say it enough. As you can see, I'm a very thankful person. 'Cause
No problem. I enjoyed it. I learned a lot.
well, I'm here for you. Okay.
Yeah. So
All
we'll
right.
talk soon. Thank you,
All right.
Wayne.
Thank you so much.